Howdy and welcome to my farm, everybody. But more importantly, welcome back to the channel where we go in search of wildlife photography. I'm Doug Wallace for the Wildlife Gallery. Say today, talking about the Canon R5. I went and done it. You've heard me talk on a couple other videos, that I was bouncing back and forth between to get a better lens or to get a new camera that was higher in megapixels and some other features to it. But my first, set this down here, my first goal was just to get better image quality, and that's why I was bouncing back and forth between a $13,000 lens and a $4,000 camera. So I've had the R5 for a week right now, and to be honest, I've just absolutely struggled with it. Again, the first thing I wanted was better image quality. Than I was wanting to up my game like we all are wanting to do when it comes to our photography. So that's, bouncing between a lens or a camera to be able to do that. I just felt like, I think most of my images are just maybe above mediocre, and I was wanting to get to that next level there. And anyways, I end up settling on the R5 strictly because of price. $4,000 versus a $13,000 lens. On paper, it should be a good fit. I did get the adapter, so I'm adapting to my 100 to 400 Mark II lens. The autofocus with that lens compared to the 90D is absolutely amazing. That thing is lightning quick, so that's been a plus. I really like it, but there are times that it struggles focusing, and I don't know if that's some of the settings I still need to tweak, but it'll latch onto something and doesn't want to let go. I'll have to point the camera at my feet, refocus, and then I can go again, and that seems to work fine. And it doesn't happen all the time, but as we all know, it always happens at the least opportune time, about the time you're wanting a shot. So it cost me a hawk the other day, taking off, cost me an osprey landing in, for the classic dive. It fixated on something behind the osprey and then just would not refocus. But anyways, I'm kind of struggling with the camera. I don't know that I'm going to send it back, but so let's get to image quality. I'm going to show you a couple of test shots. I've got a wild pig that I shot 20 plus years ago in the swamps of Mississippi. It's mounted, so it's got some detail to it like an animal would. I didn't want to use a stuffed doll or something, so I took it out and set it up in really good light, and I'm going to share these two images. Both of them are with the same 100 to 400 Mark II lens on the R5, the 90D, and you take a look at these and see if you can tell which one is which. I know which ones are which, and I know which one looks better to me or more sharp to me. But anyways, you all look at them, see if you can tell which one's the R5 or the 90D, a 45 megapixel full frame sensor versus a crop sensor 32 megapixel. I believe the 90D is 32.5, something like that. But anyways, also with the R5, some of my struggles have been the auto eye focus. Quite honestly, this 90D, I'm filming on the 90D today. It has eye tracking ability. I've got it set right now so it can focus on my eye while I'm doing this video. And I even set that a lot when I'm out shooting wildlife with that. Deer, for instance, it'll pick a deer's eye up just like that. Now it'll struggle with birds and stuff, but I've had it catch groundhogs and the yellow-belly marmot out in Colorado and stuff. Even that animal out in good light, this eye tracking deal on the 90D will pick it up. Now I went to St. Louis Zoo here about a week and a half ago, and about 90% of my shots I used the eye tracking on it, up close and personal, and it and using live view to shoot, man, the thing works flawlessly, really. in those conditions, the eye tracking on the 90D works. So if you've got a 90D and you don't use it, give it a try. It does work, which amazes me. So, but the R5, I'm going to say 50% of the time, it won't lock onto anything. It catches other stuff. So to me, that's not really a benefit to the camera. Now, the 20 frames a second's a big jump over this 90D. Man, I had a couple of turkeys out of the blind the other night, and before I knew it, I thought I might have taken, 75, 80 pictures of them. When I got home, put the SD card in there, I had 713 pictures to go through. So I'm going to have to learn to feather my trigger finger on the shutter there. And then the silent shooting, I am really liking it. This 90D, even in live mode, it's got a little clunk, clunk, clunk to it. And I have spooked a few deer with it out of my deer blind. It's a redneck blind, it's fiberglass and stuff, so it must echo or something in that blind. So that was another one of the reasons for me to think about the R5, and so I like it in that regard. But as far as image quality, I'm just not convinced that this R5 is any better than the 90D that I'm shooting with. And in my mind, for $4,000 versus a $1,200 camera, there should be some jump. And now maybe that's not the case. That's you all let me know, but I'm just having some struggles with the R5 for what I purchased it for and what I thought it would do. I thought it would really increase the quality of my images, and I'm just not seeing that at the moment. And then when it comes to ISO performance, honestly, I don't find it any better at 6400 ISO than the 90D. The 90D, you've got to have the right background, or 6400 ISO. The way I shoot just is unusable, and it's about the same with this R5 in my opinion. And I've used DxO Pure Raw, I've used On1's AI to do the images, and DxO does a better job than On1's denoise does, but still basically at 6400 it's unusable. Now, other things that I like about this camera is on the 90D I shoot manual with auto ISO, but on this R5 I've gotten to where I just shoot straight manual because I've got all three buttons right here pretty close, and I can change my shutter, my aperture, and my ISO all really quick on this camera. So I find that I just shoot strictly in manual, and I don't have the histogram turned on in the EVF. I found it too distracting, so I just strictly go off the meter in there, shooting for middle gray. And one thing I'm finding out with the 90D in the R5 seems to be just a tad more contrast, a little darker by shooting middle gray than the 90D does. Other than that, it's a great camera, and it should be for the price point. And I'm not putting this video out to be bashing Canon or R5 or anything like that. It's just simply my struggles with it, and thinking that it would increase the level and the quality of my images. And unfortunately, I'm just not seeing that, and that was my #1 reason of purchasing it. So now I'm torn that maybe I should send it back, which I'm not going to, but it's a thought. I could send it back, get that $4,000 back, or actually with the CF Express card, the EF to RF adapter, and the camera body was $4,500, $4,491 and some change, like 63 cents. So basically $4,500 just for the body here, and then you got another $2,400 here. So that is halfway to an EF 600mm f4 lens. There's the dilemma, right? So the 600mm lens, The reason why I bought the 100 to 400 for the 90D there is there's going to be situations where 600 is going to be way too much. That's why I opted for the 100 to 400 Mark II lens. Now I think this that lens is really sharp. Paired with this adapter on the R5, like I said, the autofocus is absolutely lightning quick. A lot quicker than it is on the 90D there, but it should be. This thing has like 1,008, I think, focus points. The 90D has 45. That's it. So anyways, R5 struggles, and I have watched lots of videos out there. I've watched Jan Wagner's, Wade Patton's, Safari Experts, a couple other people that shoot the R5. I've watched their videos and how they've set it up and stuff, and I have made some tweaks. I'm not using dual back button focus. I just found that way too cumbersome. For me, you gotta push the shutter button anyways for it to take a picture. So the way I've set it up, the shutter button is my meter and my AF, my autofocus, and then my AF on button I have set up for the eye tracking ability. So one last thing, one last hiccup I'm having with the R5 is in manual mode for video. Now this is for video. In straight manual mode, it will not let me select eye tracking and autofocus point at the same time. I don't know why. So I can go to custom function number 3 and set up custom function number 3, because I do like that feature. While you're taking stills, you can just hit your record button, and whatever settings you have in custom function number 3, it'll immediately go to recording in those settings. And in those settings, I was able to set up the eye tracking and set it for animals and all that. But for some reason, in manual mode, in video, in the video mode part of it, it will not let me select. It'll let me select the animal section, but won't allow me for your autofocus point. It will not allow me to select eye tracking ability there. So maybe it's because in manual mode for stills I have it set up differently. Maybe that's it. Maybe one of you all out there that can tell me that. I know, read the manual, right, dummy? Well, I'm an old redneck. I'd rather just watch a video. I'll learn better that way. But anyways, if you know what's going on there, let me know down in the comments. Again, Canon R5 struggles. I'm struggling with it, guys. I don't know that I'm any better off with the with this camera than the 90D. Now, that's with some salt shaker and tongue-in-cheek there, because the autofocus is way superior. So for that, I don't know that it's worth $4,000 total, but I've already got the camera in hand. I really don't plan on sending it back. But anyways, those are my R5 struggles. If you would, if you've got some answers for me, help me out here, guys. Let me know down in the comments. If you would, like and share, subscribe. Be safe while you're out there getting your images with whatever system you shoot with. Have fun doing it, and I'll catch you on the next one.